We're going to do, what was the next mission? If you were talking to somebody who knew nothing about 9/11, hypothetically, what would you tell that person would be the most important pieces of information that would impact that person's understanding of what happened that day?
There is evidence abounding, and many other people can make the case better than I. But when I talk to people who have never heard anything about it, I mostly go to my own personal experience as a construction worker and as a welder. And I know that concrete and steel simply do not act that way. The South Tower burned for less than an hour before a global collapse that was unlike anything that's ever been seen. A 110-story building coming straight down after burning for less than an hour. The airplane impacts were significant. Nevertheless, I know in my own heart, and this is what I tell people, that it's simply impossible for concrete and steel to completely disintegrate. Concrete to powder, steel into broken sticks as a result of the aircraft impacts. That's just my gut feeling, and I will say that I resisted the idea that anything other than the aircraft impacts brought down the buildings for a long time. A good friend of mine, a few days after the attacks, told me, he described it as self-whackage. The country had whacked itself. I said, that's absolutely impossible. Even if it were possible, our government couldn't possibly have the capability and the skill to pull off such a thing. I've since come to find out that the government is really quite skilled in their covert operations and their abilities to manipulate and propagandize. Quite skilled. So for me, I say the one thing is just the sheer impossibility that the towers burnt, one for less than an hour, the other less than 2 hours, and then Building 7 without any explanation whatsoever collapses. I think it's quite clear that the government explanations are unfeasible, and we simply, as Americans, each one of us need to take a look at it personally.